Hey guys, we'll get started in just a few minutes. AR, why don't you try talking so we can see if they can hear you?
Hello, everybody out there.
See if any of them comment, but I can see that audio is sending from your side.
That's a good sign.
Tends to make things easier when there's multiple people talking.
Yeah, I
Well, or at
mean,
least multiple people can be heard because I can hear you.
whether or not they can hear me if it making the show better is debatable, but
To be fair though, if you're just muted, then it's basically just the Garfield joke where it's me talking to someone and then responding and laughing for no real reason.
Mark without Garfield.
The funny part is I actually record the track separate just in case as a backup.
I mean,
That
that's
could,
just good. That's just good podcasting
yeah,
procedure, isn't it? To have the
yeah.
tracks recorded separately.
Well, but we get stuff up so quickly that it generally doesn't matter.
No, but if you were to hypothetically edit, you could take out, random noises from the other side if it's not their turn to talk.
I refuse.
Hmm.
Okay, ready to go?
Sure.
Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a little bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the Will.
I'm AR Polliver, Digimon System Restore.
And we're down a co-host.
Yeah.
Although we kind of suspected this was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean that's the drawback and pitfall of having somebody on during their workday.
Yes. Basically, May just felt bad where, she's waiting to see if she'll be able to and then deciding basically for every episode that we do on Monday where an hour or two before she has to decide if she thinks she's going to do it, and she just didn't. That's not fair to her. That's not fair to us to wait on.
Probably not fair to their employer either.
I believe she was doing it while eating lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although
that does suggest a horrible lunch break schedule if she doesn't even think she has that much time anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, we are oddly going back to what the original plan was when you guys came on, which is weird because that never happened.
I don't remember what that plan was, honestly.
It was that you were going to be the co-host for the show, and May would show up whenever she was able to.
Oh, gotcha.
And
okay. Now
yeah, and because we always tried to schedule it when May would most likely be able to do it, she just happened to be the third co-host. To the point that sometimes she would forget that she was the co-host and she would refer to herself as the guest.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of the times it was a question of whether May would be up and awake on those Saturdays or Sundays.
Yeah, Sunday for her, Saturday for us.
Yeah.
So it's effectively going back to that. May will show up whenever she's able to. We are waiting on some. Dev is going to try to get a headset, and she will join us when she's able to. She decided that she'd be willing to, but not with the setup that she had cobbled together last time, which was 2 or 3 things plugged into an iPad. So she will join when she's able to. I've also talked to our phantom guest who's never shown up yet, and he said go ahead and say it's Joshua. I think it's Blue Pants.
Oh,
I don't remember his Twitter name. Blue Pants, Blue Khakis.
Something along those lines. I just know him by his real name. I don't know him by his handle.
Khaki Blue Socks.
Khaki, yeah, there. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. We follow each other.
Yeah, he was the one who was meant to be a guest multiple times and just never quite worked out schedule-wise. And I told him, I hadn't said who he was because I didn't want people to bother me. He said, no, that's fine if people bother me. Normally they bother me because they don't like me. I'd love for people to bother me because they want to hear more from me.
Yeah, I could definitely have him on.
Yeah. Oh, we will. It's just been one of those hilarious things where anytime he has had his schedule open where he's sure he'll be able to make it, we're not recording. And anytime when I go, so there'll be an episode here, Do you want to join? He goes, I'm on call that night. So it's just
Oh,
been
gotcha.
the hilarious
Yeah.
back and forth of any time it works for him, we're just not doing a show. And anytime I go, okay, it makes sense to have him on. Let's see how he's doing. He goes, I'm on call. So it just has bounced
Mm-hmm.
around.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have Dev. Josh will join us at some point.
Yeah, hopefully during the football season so we can go off on a long, long tangent about football.
Yeah. And May will pop up again. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of when. At some point, we're going to have to do a weekend show at some point, and I'm sure we'll grab May for that.
Yeah. I was hoping to have May on this time because I thought they said something about not liking this episode as much or not being as impressed with that. I forgot to read the review.
I have to be honest, it's a weird cultural thing. British and Australian reviews seem to mostly be going like just saying the plot and then a couple lines about if they liked it or not.
Okay.
While
Got some
you
of my reviews end up like that,
yeah, but
especially in the early days.
more US based reviews tend to be more saying what they think of content and integrating it into going, well, this happened and my thoughts on it are blah 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 blah. It's something. It's some.
I don't think that's so much a cultural thing, so much as a choice of critique thing.
Well,
like I don't want to. I'm not
no,
trying to. It's going to be a while before I can reach into my head and pull out the course I took on different critical analysis
Oh no, I
formats that
know,
I took in senior year.
But I mean, for the default style, it seems to pop up based on people I know. The people from the US tend to go with that one, while people from the UK and Australia tend to go with they want to go over or at least the terminology of what review means to them. Perhaps maybe a better description.
I suppose. Like I kind of get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I think it might still be a generalization, but perhaps that is a terminology thing. I don't know.
It's possible. Because I remember, I think it was Vanda used to go, well, I'll review episodes. It was like when Crosswords was on, I believe. And she put up the first one, and it was just going over the plot. I'm like, there's no review here.
Yeah, I still not entirely sure what to call my articles. Like I used to hesitate before calling them review because I tried to be a little more content focused and breaking it down, and then eventually somewhere around Appmon, I think I just turned it into, is this good or bad?
A trash bag of opinion.
Yeah, sort of.
So let us talk about episode 8. I think we're both actually sort of on the same page on this one, in that it's probably the best episode so far.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted May on here, because I don't think they would have concurred. But no, I agree. This is as far as my opinion goes, it's the best episode we've had so far. This is the first solid A episode I gave the series.
So we start off with Mimi doing a Kakumon's hair.
That's so cool. Like that's just those little flourishes that you really appreciate in a series like this. I likened it to Eri and Atmon always having fun stuff going on in the background that you don't always pay attention to, but it's just nice that it's there.
Now, the weird thing, did they ever clarify what was wrong with Joe at the beginning?
I assume that it's just not, he doesn't have his sea legs.
Okay, that's what I thought, but it occurred to me at some point that Palmon's just sitting there holding Joe, and he's sort of passed out, but not really. I thought maybe I missed something.
I attribute it to seasickness, which is interesting because that always came across to me as more of a dub thing in the original.
Didn't think about that.
But yeah, that struck me as interesting because I didn't think in the original version that they really focused on Joe being constantly having allergies and seasickness all that.
I think you can remove that whole line minus they didn't focus on Joe. So it starts off with them arriving at Cloud Continent. Although, have they actually clarified this is Cloud Continent, in fact, or are we just meant to assume it is?
Well, the kids certainly assume it is because they sure as hell seemed happy to find land. But
True.
I don't think we can assume it is.
And
I
they,
guess the end of the episode having information about the Holy
yeah,
Digimon is meant to have you believe that it
uh,
is. Like
okay, yeah,
it's
that makes
open
sense.
it's open for them to pull a switcheroo on it, but I think we're meant to believe that it's the continent.
Okay, that makes sense. And they arrive, as you do, via sniper fire.
Yeah, that was a great twist. Like
Yeah.
that, they're actually asking. It's like why? I was kind of wondering this too. It's like why is there a lighthouse there? And I was like, nope, it's a trap. That's great.
The instant someone said lighthouse, my brain just went, I don't think that's a lighthouse. Although
Yeah, it was.
although it helps that we knew they were going up against a fortress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fortresses can have lighthouses. I was on vacation last weekend. I saw a bunch of lighthouses.
So it actually feels weird that like the enemies are competent.
Yeah, I really like that.
Like you have Gorimon standing up there getting ready to snipe. You have the Solarmons basically giving him targets.
It's drawing in targets
Yeah.
and then blinding them with their reflections. That's really intelligent. And not only that, but the idea of, if you noticed, the fortress was actually in between kind of this little cavern.
Yes.
Like it was occupying a choke point on a beachhead.
Well, and also the actual design of the fortress was seemingly meant to keep people from rushing it. Like there were actually twists and turns and all that. It just happens that Garurumon attempted to jump over most of it.
Yeah, as you do.
And then Tankmon finally being used as a mass of tanks. I don't remember when that's happened before. I'm sure it has. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, I gotta believe one of the Cross Wars armies
used them
like that, but
that's
the answer to everything is like when were they used competently? It was
Cross Wars has done it before.
Probably something in Cross Wars.
And then the mysterious masked figure shows up, who none of us knew who it was. I'm sure.
Oh,
hey, look, it's Yamato.
Yeah. In a cave.
And Gabumon and him and Agumon, so they do clearly remember each other. And it's not just phantom memories or something.
Oh no, they definitely remember each other. In that regard, that it's an interesting discrepancy that I'm looking forward to having explored. That they remember each other but don't necessarily remember Omegamon.
Well, see, I don't necessarily see it as in that manner. I just think it's that they've met each other at some point since what originally happened X years ago.
Right. It's like I hope
you're just looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. I'm not whining about plot holes or anything. I'm saying that's going to be interesting to see if they explain what's going on there, and I hope that there's potential for something interesting going on there.
And we get a bit of more of Yamato deciding if people are useful or not.
Mm-hmm.
And deciding on his own to run out and do the stupid thing, which would have failed if not for Taichi deciding to rush out with everyone after Joe screws up a bit. Joe's such a delight, isn't he?
Oh yeah. I mean, back to Yamato for a second though, before we get to Joe, because that's a whole thing. But I guess Joe ties into that is that originally Yamato was allowed to be convinced that Taichi and Koshiro would be helpful in episode 2. Like he's like, okay, I'm a little reluctant, but they seem to have value here. And then he gets to these guys and sees Sora and Mimi and Joe, who have just got their asses kicked by the Tankmon and Gorimon, and they're kind of down and not in a particularly great look. And he's like, no, I got it. No.
And he's effectively chosen to go alone rather than grabbing Taichi so that someone would be left with them. Is what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
In that instance, Yamato's looking at Taichi, going, "Your best purpose is to babysit these guys
and make sure they don't die."
Yeah.
So Joe's oddly in that they're towing the line very well from him being. I'm not sure high strung is the term I want to use. Where he clearly is out of sorts, but he is trying his best to help as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Even if his help is effectively being the comic relief booby prize.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
here's the thing. We haven't seen him actually be involved in a quote-unquote real fight.
that is true.
Last time, it was a Digimon that, as far as he knows, is just a wild animal. Here, it's, oh, there's tanks and stuff. I need to let them know that we're not here to fight them.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah, he
steals the
was trying
towel.
to be useful. And in fact, that might even be the mature thing for him to make the call that, you know what, all of these enemy Digimon, we're weakened. We're not going to win this fight. I'm going to be the bigger man here, and I'm going to just announce the surrender to keep us all alive.
And he steals a towel.
And he steals somebody's towel. And it's like, it's, it's played for laughs.
But
and
it technically was the right thing for him to do based on what he knows of what's going on.
Yeah, like there's some sound logic going on in his head, even though, overall, he's not a shonen protagonist. What are you gonna do?
Although, to be fair, he did try with the thumbs up to Yamato. He tried.
He got into it in the end. He's like, you know what? We're doing it whether we like to or not. You better win, okay?
And Mimi's place in this episode was wholly as comic relief.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a place where it wouldn't have been. I mean, at the end of the episode when she's talking to Yamato, there's some significant moments in that.
There is, but even there, that's sort of meant to be the goofy sort of, I am the normal kid who's saying hello type setup.
Yeah, there's value in that, though. There's major value in that in order to get Yamato a little more.
Hey, we've already had Yamato and Mimi talking to each other in the series.
Yes,
more than in any. Yeah.
We no longer have to count Valdermon as far as a Yamato Mimi conversation.
Yeah, and the towel thing was great. As much as it's easy to joke about, it was a good moment.
Palmon getting some moments in here.
Yeah, that little bit of animation of Palmon, it's Sora's towel. Yeah. I will say, everyone had great facial expressions in this episode.
They did, yes.
Yeah. What's weird is it's hard to comment about Sora because she does so little, but she actually does jump into the thick of it.
So Sora is really... I found Sora interesting in this well, not so much interesting in this episode, but what she's poised to be. What I found interesting in this episode is that she's the one putting out all the helpful observations in this episode. Like, she's the one saying, like, why is there a lighthouse here? And she's the one's like, okay, they're hoarding already. That's not good. And she's the one kind of making all the astute observations. What's going to be interesting going forward is now once you add Yamato to the team, and when you have Joe kind of being Joe, Sora's role as kind of being Taichi's backup is going to be amplified a little more. Like, Taichi having this central lieutenant in Sora is going to be a little more useful for the group dynamic than it was originally without Joe and Yamato, where everyone's kind of on the same page.
Well, it also helps that, this is a bit odd because I don't think it was fully thought out by fans ahead of time, is by not having Takeru around, you do get to have Yamato sort of be his own character and not necessarily know everyone else.
Yeah.
Yamato
can be this kind of hard edge dude right now, and then later when Takeru joins the team, we can soften him up a little bit.
Yeah, but it does leave the position
the same thing applies with Taichi if Hikari joins at the same time as Takeru. Which we don't know that's going to happen.
No,
but
we don't.
If it did,
it feels like it, though.
It does feel like it, and when that happens, that's going to change Taichi a lot, and that will be fun to watch.
Yeah, and still no Koshiro.
He's taking his sweet time.
Although I will say, I did like, and I saw a few people complaining about something Kabuterimon did, which I actually liked, which was Kabuterimon pointing out he wasn't actually going as fast as he could have.
Yeah.
I like that because it makes sense. He's going because he doesn't know what they're going to show up to find. And then when he hears they're in trouble, well, okay, now it's time to rush.
Well, he's also got to pace himself, I suppose. He can't
Yeah.
sprint that whole distance.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense, and he was Koshiro would have been another throwing another body into that fight would have maybe been a little too much. I think that worked really well with 5.
Yeah.
6 might have been pushing it. Like they barely had enough for Joe and Mimi to do in this episode, and it did hinge a little more on comic relief.
Yeah.
So it worked really well with 5. So it's totally excusable that Koshiro hasn't joined the team yet. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's a very amusing contrivance for me.
It is. And then, hey, we finally got another evolution with Gabumon. And Birdramon gets nothing again.
And yeah, and this time neither Togemon and
Hey,
Gagumon didn't either.
they got the nice Uncle Spinny Dervish.
That's fair. And honestly, though, I kind of like them limiting the evolution sequences. Honestly, I thought this episode had one evolution sequence too many. I didn't think Greymon's was necessary.
Yeah, but Greymon's is the one that they know the audience sort of wants to see, so you kind of have to.
Yeah. I'm on board with only them using it in like plot heavy moments. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see this every episode.
Yeah, but the 8-year-olders do, is the thing.
Screw the 8-year-olds.
See, that can go on a soundboard. So the actual final battle is actually rather short. It's more the emotional moment having Yamato realize that, oh, it's only because of everyone doing their part that he's about to kill the gorilla.
Yeah, once he gets into melee range and that awesome cape move to take out the Solar Mon, then yeah, it's pretty cut and dry at that point.
Universally, it felt like...
And at that point, it's like it felt inevitable. Like, it's like, okay, Yamato's like, I have all these guys. They all have my back. Like, yeah, I got this.
The universal reaction seemed to roughly be, are we getting Were-Garurumon? Like, that came up. A lot of people thought that that's what we were getting. And I admit, I kind of went, are they really going to do that now? Like, when we're expecting kind of Metal Greymon to show up so soon? And instead, we just got a nice little power-up thing, which actually, I actually liked.
Didn't hear any of it.
Didn't hear any of what?
You cut out a while ago.
Oh, I did? Huh. What I said was, a lot of people were expecting Were-Garurumon based on what was happening.
Hold on, I'm going to reset here.
Okay, yeah, I think it might be on your end, but I will check mine also.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What I said was that based on what was happening, a lot of people really thought Were-Garurumon was about to pop up.
Oh god, that would have been awful. But that's, that's a nice thing about having these little crest boosts.
Yeah.
I guess you could call them, where it's like you just get that little flash of extra power without going full additional evolution.
Yeah.
It's a nice little tool they've got.
Yep. And then next episode we get, it looks like exposition at the beginning and then major battle shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking forward to Metal Greymon at the end of next week or the week before? After, I mean?
I don't know.
Neither do I. It's weird because it does feel very soon, but if it's done right, it doesn't matter if it's too soon, if it's done right.
It's pretty close to being appropriate.
Yeah, because it was 19, right?
It was 19 originally. I feel like other series have hit their second forms around this time, though. Like Frontier, they were hitting their Beast Spirits around this time. So it's not completely out of line.
Yeah, I guess you're right, huh? Well, we'll see what comes up. So
yeah, this may or may not actually be happening. Like they might be. It might not. That may not actually be the case. Do we know if the episode title was referring to Ultimates, or did they? Is that a translation to for English, or they mean Ultimates? as opposed to perfect.
I believe it was perfect in the Japanese.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe so. I don't quite remember at the moment, but I can pull it up in a
That's
second.
a yeah. Okay. Because that's an important distinction
Yeah,
if we're
I
talking about
let's see.
foreshadowing there.
No, I don't want the ones for episode 2.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about surprise forms in episode 2
Oh, okay.
anymore.
Here we go. When this decides to pop up, it is perfect. The translation Onke came up with from the guide was perfect levels invade.
Okay.
So yes, they're referring to level and not just ultimate in the sense of this is cool.
Well, no, I wasn't sure if they were referring to if the subs that we got actually translated the
It did.
evolution levels into what common English,
Yeah, it
which
looks
I'm a
like it
little
did.
which is a strange it's just a strange switch considering how little else they've changed. But
Yeah, I would
that's
like to,
neither here nor
and of course, the weird thing is whenever we do get the fully translated stuff, they do say Ogremon in English.
yeah.
We don't end up with Orgmon when stuff
Yeah,
is dubbed.
they don't change that. But we get ultimates instead of perfects.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think we're both generally agreed. Thumbs up on this one.
Oh yeah, this is like I said, this is the
Yeah.
first straight A I've given out.
Okay, that's an easy win then.
Yep.
Then preview for episode 9. We kind of already talked about it. We get to see a very menacing figure, and we'll see what happens, along with what I'm sure is exposition at the beginning.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I assume Koshiro's back, then yeah, it's gonna be plot
yeah.
dump.
And before we move on from Venture, they added more to the voice recording challenge. The clip of Sora and Piomon from episode 4 and Agumon's evolution. It's the same setup as the first two, where they give you the video without the audio to record, and people can win stuff. I'm hopeful we will get more Volcano Oda doing stuff because his were just so delightful.
I want to hear Volcano Oda's Piomon. Let's be real here.
No, him doing both Sora and Piomon.
That too.
Yeah.
But mostly Piomon, especially
Yeah.
Piomon.
And then it won't be too much longer that we get to move on to Kazuna, will it?
I've lost all sense of time. I was honestly looking through the notes and like, wait, DigiFest is next week? What the hell?
Yeah. So first up with Kazuna, it is finally out of theaters in Japan, and even the tweets regarding that were like, "We did not expect it to be in theaters this long." And
Well,
well, yeah,
there were
yeah,
circumstances.
and they went over that there were circumstances for many countries, and they know many people have not been able to see it yet as was planned. And basically, they thank everyone in advance for that they know people will get to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got the nice layout of the 3 different versions that are coming out in Japan. I still like all the art. The packaging are nice. I will say the normal ones look kind of sad compared to the deluxe one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong; they're completely normal packages. They have more extras than many times Japanese anime films have. But just looking at like what physically shows up,
Yeah, I mean the
it's
inside, like the little character graphics and on the inside, it's ordinary.
yeah. But that does help with the disc content, minus that it's missing the O2 audio drama for
Sure,
them.
sure.
But yeah, the problem is the deluxe one is really nice looking.
Oh yeah.
And that's out September 2nd. And then a month later, we get it. And we're only a few days away from DigiFest. I mean, it's Friday or Saturday morning at 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, that snuck up on me.
Yeah. So they gave I will say, like, the nice digital poster type thing, like, that really worked well. Like, it feels very formal and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts 2 a.m. Pacific. At the forum, I've linked an actual pre-programmed time converter so everyone can find theirs. It's going to be by the Toei YouTube. They've clarified there is no charge for entry because I don't know if you can. Can you do that with YouTube?
Oh.
Because I know there are services in Japan where you can. I don't know if you can with YouTube though.
Yeah, YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah. They gave the programming list, which no real surprises. Minus that they're including. I mean, we kind of guessed they would include stuff from the new version of Adventure, but. And they actually do.
It's gonna be. That's kind of what I'm most interested in seeing is how the two go together.
I think there's only one thing that can possibly happen. It flips the camera on, and Kokoro's there to do a quick Diginavi.
Oh, God.
And then everyone tunes out. The nice thing about X Evolution is they actually point out that it is technically the public premiere of the film at a public thing. Because there was the initial TV screening, there were DVD rentals, there wasn't technically any sort of public event screening for it in the past. Which is kind of interesting. I mean, but here's
not, is this really? How different is this than a TV screen?
I mean, it's a marketing poster. They're gonna. The only real new thing past that is producer Kinoshita will be the host, which it makes sense. He's done pretty decently when he's hosted this sort of thing before. He was he was one of the producers at the Anime Expo panel last year. He was one of the hosts of the first Diginavi when they had Kizuna stuff to talk about. And we're only a few days away. And one other neat little surprise was they put up on Twitter the promo poster for X Evolution. For the first time, it's not a tiny thumbnail piece of crap. Like the actual resolution of the poster means that generally every character we actually may see clearer than in the film itself.
I should see if I need to swap the image I have on my blog for the new one.
Oh, I would say you would. It's 1800 by 2545. I think the old one's like 300 by 400. So, I don't think most people had noticed the Royal Knights text on the X before. So very nice to get that. Very nice to get that poster in usable quality and not having to try to because anytime I need to post X Evolution stuff, there's nothing like usable that doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, I just checked my blog. I do have the terrible old poster up on as the image for that. I may do some swappy later on.
And because we all love the Royal Knights, the new poll is, who's your favorite Royal Knight? Closes on August 5th. I feel like there's three possible winners here. AR, who do you think the three are, and why?
Well, Omegamon, Alphamon. I wouldn't count out Ulforce.
Yeah, those were the three. Omegamon because it's Omegamon. Alphamon because, well, we know why.
Yeah.
And UL Force because enough of a wild card because here's the thing, not many people actually do these polls. It is almost solely hardcore fans.
Yes. Yeah.
Enough people like him that could be like the weird because here's the thing, if a normal person if a non-hardcore fan sees, vote for your favorite Digimon, they might go to the effort. They might not even know what a Royal Knight is.
Yeah, which actually I think lends itself a little bit in Omegamon's favor, because if you think about the Royal Knights as a group, that I think you kind of go Alphamon.
See, that's
opposed, and Omegamon's just the most popular Digimon.
But that's
the most
why
popular Royal Knight might be a different question.
Yeah, I would say that very well probably would be Alphamon. It's just a matter of if he wins or not. But I would say UL Force is the wild card in this, and maybe Magnamon, maybe
Magnamon.
I think the problem is that you have the other three before Magnamon, But
Yeah.
Magnamon, it does feel like a wild card of a character people really do like, but unlikely to be the one that people would pick first.
I mean, even on that image you posted, those are the four.
Yes.
I don't know if that was if you just took that from something or you
No,
designed that.
I believe Lost just took it from the actual Royal Knights page they have on the thing.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if there was a specific order to it there or not, though.
I think there is. I think we know who the leading contenders are.
Yes. And then...
Don't look at me. I voted for Duffmon, so...
Duffmon says...
Duffmon
Drink up.
says...
Crap, I can't remember the beats to Yellow now. Because the song's Yellow, right? The one from Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing it now. It's not nice.
I tried, everyone. So on to music. We have the cover for Unidentified Airship. I like the cover, but it also feels like it took random art from places, even though like the Taichi and Agumon are new art. But it does not feel like a cohesive cover to me.
It doesn't look like new art. That's what that always was what frustrates me, is when it's new art that just looks like it's ordinary.
Yeah. You're not wrong, though. August 19th, the store exclusives, the postcard, which is being given to just so many places I did not try to list them, which it's a frame from the show, but they actually expanded it slightly. Animate gets a bromide print, and the Amazon one upsets me a little because their international pre-orders are all fucked up. I mean, as you would expect.
Yeah.
That's like a giant version of the cover, which would do like a great scan because it's like 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. But dealing with that at the moment, too much. And then the Miku CD was properly announced for release. We have the cover. I think we did talk about this very quickly last time, didn't we? Or did this just pop up in the last week?
I feel like this just popped up in the last week. I completely forgot about this.
I think this might have popped up on Monday. But yeah, I would expect they probably originally planned for this to come out like, oh, we'll do it as they're doing promotion for Kizuna. And then they went, that would probably be a bad idea. We'll wait for home video. Then home video's delayed, and now it's home video again. So it's basically hit the point of we need to do it now. So it's the CD with the track, karaoke version, and a DVD with the music video. I still like the cover art, but at this point, we've seen it, for like a year and a half?
We've seen it, yeah. That's nothing all that exciting about this. Yeah. Like, if you want to own it's basically, do you want to own a hard copy of it?
Yeah, and then for DigiFest, they announced Digimon History 1996 through 2006, all the best nonstop. There was some confusion. There was confusion from some people about what this was, so let me clarify before we talk about it. It is not a re-release of the similarly titled album from 2010. It uses the same tracks, but as a medley.
Which I'm really interested to see how they put this together.
Because here's the thing. They could do it as a medley where it's just 80 or 90% of each song, and this runs for 15 minutes. Or it could be 30 seconds.
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead. 15 minutes, it would be shorter than 80%, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right, but you know what I mean, though, where it just goes on and on forever.
Yeah.
Or it may just be 20, 30 seconds running through stuff. The price would make me think at least a minute or so per song. Because it's about $12. It will be digital. They haven't clarified if it will be available internationally, which, depending on which storefronts, it's possible, but we will see.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how they transition all these together and what that looks like, because the only nonstop medleys I've been familiar with are the old DDR CDs.
And we should probably get into the music thing, because some people may not be aware of it. The reason why this always happens is Feel Me, which is, I believe it's still under Dream Music, did the music for Adventure, Ode to Tamer's Frontier and Savers. Cross Wars was done by Nippon Columbia, who's also doing the new Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Try was done by Feel Me, Kazuna was done by Feel Me, and Atmon was Warner Music with borrowed people from other groups.
Yeah.
So anytime you get a collection like this, it is effectively been limited to these 5. In recent years, Try has been added. Kazuna will no doubt be added by the future, but this time they would not add Try or Kazuna for what I would say are a key reason, which is both of those either have or had CDs coming out.
Yeah. And
So
also, it's kind of, it would be, I wouldn't
yeah,
feel right including Try and Kazuna if you're not including Cross Wars
well,
and Atmon.
it also lets them come up with a title, especially when you want to do Digimon history.
Yeah.
Minus that one that had the best music. So yeah, for $12, if this is available, I'll nab this. I'm trying. The weird thing is it would have been nice maybe if they'd shaken up the order from the normal version of the album.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of. Is this the actual order from the original album?
My
Or
yes,
did they.
my understanding is it is the exact order of the album, which is basically to a
That's.
degree it's you have the openings, you have the
Mm-hmm.
main insert songs, you have the ending songs, then you have secondary.
It's even weirder than. It's
Yeah,
even.
yeah, a
It's
few are mixed
openings.
up.
It's like openings, a few evolution songs, a bunch of the endings, and then they end with Tamer's insert songs.
Yes,
Like
probably
the
because
Slash Emo and One Vision all tacked on at the
yeah,
end there. I'm really interested. It's like
I
when it's this straightforward. I wonder how they string
I
these
think
together.
I think th-
That's one reason I'm really curious about how they do the transitions here.
yeah, it'll be interesting, especially since not including 2 tracks, all of the unique artists are at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see what pops up. I do hope it's available for us to nab though. The I don't remember what the store's name is at the moment, but a lossless Japanese store does tend to try to make these available when they're able to. So
Mm.
I'll be checking there. That's where I got the TV size version of the new opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what pops up because that will be out with DigiFest on August 1st. And then the fun part of the news for various reasons is product updates. We already have news for the Ichiban Kuji figures getting US release at multiple stores under the Ichiban Show brand. I've already pre-ordered both of these because I had nothing better to do. I really do like the Omega Mon and War Greymon, though. The Omega
Mm-hmm.
Mon one especially. Um, and Big Bad Toy Store, they must have found a few cases because D-Arts Beelzebumon and Fig Arts Imperial Dramon FM are show as pre-orders for August, even though those are long out of print. Prices are much better than they've been scalped for years, so I know a number of people who ran and grabbed those. I would pre-order them if you want, because I would assume this is the last time we're going to see these.
Yeah.
Especially the Beelzebumon, which is from, and I think that came out right before Cross Wars started.
Mm.
Been sitting in a warehouse somewhere for 10 years. And then yet another pop-up shop has been announced. The Adventure Sunday Market will open at the Diver City Tokyo Plaza. It is I believe this is not an actual shop, but more like a cart.
Okay.
Yeah, with one piece and adventure items. Because they say the shop will be found in front of the Uniqlo store on the 5th floor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that would
Because
explain it.
a few of the locations for what was the graffiti brand?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, some of those weren't actually stores. Some of them were carts.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a quick update on the Korean Roundly Digimon 20th. We got more images of the packaging for that. It looks nice, but I really hate when they don't use a spindle holder. I don't like when packaging it has like foam or plastic or
Oh,
paper
yeah.
stock behind the back. I don't like that. The new normal, they're doing an anniversary of Back to the Future. It does the same thing where it's just pushed into like a cardboard booklet.
Mm.
I want plastic spindle hubs. I want the disc protected. The Adventure acrylic cards are available for pre-order. Don't have to deal with the pop-up shop for those. That's happened with almost every set of these, hasn't it?
I
Where
think
it's been,
so, yeah.
yeah. All Adventure this time. The price isn't bad. A box of 20 is about $120. I think there's a lot of group buys for these where
Oh
everyone
yeah.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
how
we'll
I got
see.
a hold of mine.
Yeah. So we'll see what pops up with these, but it's nice that they're able to order before Digifest because Digifest is also where these generally pop up early, which will not happen this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, price was good, and then not necessarily the big news, but the one that makes people upset the most. Uh, we still don't really know what the hell's going on with Digimon Survive. I would say anyone
Neither does
guessing.
Amazon apparently.
Yeah, I would say this is probably Bandai not communicating with stores very well.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't believe it's canceled because they were promoting it literally just 3 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, remember that when Kazuna was postponed, they took down pre-orders for those as well.
Well,
And
only
Shout
no.
Factory canceled a bunch of
Shout pulled theirs
Shout
down
Factory.
based on their own policies.
Yeah.
Everyone else left theirs up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Shout store policies is if they don't have a solicited date, they don't leave it on their store.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised. I was surprised they started pre-ordering to begin with. Like, I think that was a.
I assume it was one of those things where it was on the schedule and it never got taken off.
Okay.
And then within 2 weeks, someone realized there's no way in hell this is going to make it. We need to let our retail partners know.
Yeah.
As for this, I assume it's bad communication because, like, you still have the PS4 and Xbox One up. The weird thing is it's been pulled from multiple stores. A few people said that in various European stores, it's gone on all three, which no doubt is not helping.
Yeah.
I would assume those have probably been gone for a bit, and it's just the cancellation notice being sent out has people looking closer.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see what pops up. The only thing that was hilarious is while it's still up at some other stores, this happened to one other game. A collection of the Prinny games. So we get to talk about this guy again.
Yay!
Yeah. But that one's still listed at Walmart and Target, which is where Survive was missing from also. I would say this is just really bad communication and not an actual issue. It's just combined with no one saying anything gives the appearance that something is very, very wrong.
Get it together, dude.
Okay, dude. And then that is it for products, except for the card game. So we got a new playmat, which is always fun. I like the cards chosen this time that they use the playmats for. Dukemon, UL Force, and Shine Greymon. Poor Shine Greymon, he gets a little bit of usage.
Yay.
Yeah, then we get actual decent size images of the purple and black promo cards. Because I mean, we were dealing with thumbnails before. These they look nice, don't they?
They do look nice.
Yeah, like the Kenji Watanabe Vamdemon.
That Vamdemon is so extra. I love it.
Yeah. And as Maria doing Devimon, like sitting there with like a grinning, like thinking face.
Yeah, that Pico Devimon's pretty nice too.
Yeah. And then we found out what the other promo pack was, the Tamer Battle Pack, which will be given to those who participate in the Tamer battle events in August. Basically, mini, small type tournaments. And the winner gets a fancier version of one of the cards. But the cards themselves are interesting. It is parallel cards for each of the 4 first releases of the game. So Metal Greymon from the red booster pack, Zudomon from the blue, Angelmon from the yellow, but each with new art. And for green, we get Atler Kabuterimon from the first booster pack, with the winner's card being a nicer version of Metal Greymon. I believe these are hollow cards. The Metal Greymon, that is. And then they announced a bunch of... So they put up a video which it goes over the Tamer's Workshop, which we've gone over a few times before. We went over the Tamer battles then. They will be doing the Evolution Cup, which are medium scale tournament events, and some sort of bonus card for those who rank highly. I would have preferred they just used a blacked out card because now people think it's the middle Greymon card again because it was that, but only grayed out to like 90%, so you can tell it's the yeah. And then they announced a championship tournament for next year. The card game will survive, at least for that. So, yeah. And then we got the last 2 secret rares from Booster Set 2, which is really nice artwork of Beelzebumon and Black. We had seen these, but we did not have good images of them.
Right.
I believe what we had last week were the images from DigiNavi.
Mm-hmm.
Great looking cards here.
Yes.
The black and purple promo pack, we knew it was going to be given away at the Tamer workshops. They announced it for anyone who spent 1,000 yen, I believe, or more at the pop-up shop, and now it will be in Card Gamer Volume 53, which I believe that shows up on shelves in Japan in a week or so. There were a few episodes of Fun DigiCud. They did match. There's been so much card game stuff in the last few weeks. It's been a lot, especially
encouraging.
It is like have you seen like the images of people buying case after case of them?
No, but I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll see what pops up with this.
We're finally going to reach that Digimon Tamer's alternate universe where the card game is relevant. I'm excited.
And it still won't be that one because it's a different game.
This is we're living in the Tamers reboot. For anyone who thinks the Tamers needs a reboot,
that was poorly written and it had no plot.
So's 2020, honestly.
Yeah, but at least 2020 is entertaining and doesn't make you want to fall asleep. Moving on to art, which of course is all about Adventure 2020. So they put up a little image a bit before the episode airs, and the last few have been pre-existing. This time we get Gabumon wearing Yamato's cloak.
Yeah, that was the first one I went, okay, that is not a repeat.
Yeah, that's. I admit,
episode specific.
I admit I had to check because the cloak thing is so common that I wondered if maybe it had shown up just for some random thing, but it did. That I found.
That would be so funny if it did.
Yeah. Then Kenji Watanabe doing a great image of Gabumon running, and you see like a otherworldly version of Garurumon and Yamato behind him.
Yeah.
Like these have all been full of a lot of energy from him. And then the surprise was Tenya Yabuno drawing Yamato.
Yeah.
With the cloak. The text that he gave with it was basically instinctively reacted to the cloak. Basically he saw he saw the cloak and just went, gotta draw that. Because that was V Tamer Taichi's thing, was that he always had a cloak.
He had that gold cloak. Yep. Yeah.
And then on top of the art, we have a couple photos that we need to explain. So
Digimon in One Piece, all buddy.
Yeah, so the one on the right is there's a whiteboard outside of where they record One Piece, and the actors and some of the staff will write and draw on it. And when someone will take a photo and they'll put it up when the episode airs. Mm-hmm. So for episode 934, there's a really nice drawing of Agumon's head, and didn't get a translation of everything, but Shin actually pointed out that some of the small text next to him reads Digimon here for some reason.
Gaomon's in there too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know. Here's the problem.
And your Savers erasure.
No, here's why Gaomon does not register, because I know that Zoro's actor is Gaomon.
Yeah. Oh no.
So my brain just completely skipped over Gaomon being unique to that character. So it just went, oh, it's a blue dog that looks like Gaomon, and then I sort of just, because the other thing is I'm throwing these together at 1 or 2 a.m. Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the Agumon earlier in the day, so it's like, okay, throw that link into a text file so I can grab it. And I'm like, okay, Agumon, writing it. And then I'm moving on to the next thing. And it sort of was just in the periphery that Gaomon was there, but it didn't click enough for me to remember and write it.
Yeah, we all know you hate sabers. Move on.
See, the problem is, even when I try to be nice to Savers, people expect me to hate it. And I don't just pop up saying I hate it, to be perfectly fair. In fact, I think it's always you. And then this was sort of paired with the Kazuna one. With Kazuna exiting theaters, it is technically the end of all the main stuff they announced for the 20th anniversary of Adventure. And they just put up a nice little montage of stuff. Like that Agumon plush at the top middle, that's from Anime Expo. I don't know why I'm so abused at him looking at the camera like that. But yeah, a lot of neat little things there.
Yeah. It feels like the 20th anniversary lasted a while, but yeah,
well,
I suppose it was shorter than the 15th lasted.
I believe the first time we saw the logo was the Tri glasses, weren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then that vanished quickly. But yeah. And we'll go on to questions. And while we start with the ones that were sent in, you guys can ask in the chat. So the first one was someone wanted to know, will any digital movie stores have advantages over others for Last Evolution? Will rentals be available? Some stores have better video quality than others. I would say, in general, it's not really going to matter, be super noticeable difference. Sometimes iTunes will have extras, the others will not. So if you deal with iTunes, that may be one to watch. Where were you going to get it from, AR? Because you were going to get it digitally for sure, as I recall.
I don't know. I haven't actually thought about that. I haven't gotten to that point. I was going to see what the options are and go from there.
I believe we know iTunes, Google Play, PlayStation, and Microsoft Store were the four they said, but I would expect Voodoo also.
Yeah. And I don't really care about the extras because I'm getting the physical copy, so I'd probably just get it from probably PlayStation. Well, I'd have to think about it. It would entirely be based on expediency of getting frame grab, screen caps, and stuff, and making it work for the blog.
In that case, you probably want to do whichever just loads best on your phone or tablet.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. As for will rentals be available, I would not expect it when it goes up a week early. Maybe when the Blu-ray is out. It can be a little random with anime stuff sometimes. But definitely not the week early, I would say. Unless they're going to do some stupid price, which is possible. Then let's look at the chat. Ramon wants to know what will happen first. Digimon survive getting a release date or Piccolo getting a Digivolution sequence?
Finally, someone asking the hard questions.
I mean,
and I honestly don't know what to put. I'm going to say Piccolo Mon, but it's
here's the thing. Tough. I want to make a joke about Digimon Survive always being out, but I've made the Disgaea joke so much.
So the answer is Piccolo Mon because at some point she's going to go perfect. It might not be because the question was Piccolo Mon, not Birdramon. I have no idea if Birdramon's going to get a sequence. Garudamon will.
That's fair.
It might be the swirl. It might be the one that they've kind of used for like Togemon and Ikagumon, but it's going to count for her purposes.
And then someone asked, why are the new V-Pets not trying to push things to the next level? I mean, why would they? I mean, don't get me wrong. As much as V-Pet fans are complaining about, say, the Pendulum, they're also buying 3 of them. And looking forward to buying 4, 5, and 6 when they're announced and come out, as we all expect them to. I mean, there's no real reason for Bandai to spend the money to make something new from scratch when they've made just a sort of new generation version of the old one.
Yeah, and it's V-Pets. It's kind of a niche-y thing anyway. It's a little old school by nature.
But remember, they don't believe us that that's true. They remember,
if you're into them, that's great.
Oh, no, absolutely. But like a lot of but a lot of V-Pet fans really do believe that it's still the center of the brand.
Well, I don't even mean center of the brand. I mean that like
No, no,
the
no. But that's what I mean.
VPET.
Like they don't get that
Uh,
it's a small niche thing. This is how Bandai's making them and having the prices be almost reasonable.
right. That's a but that's kind of a different thing. I just mean that the technology of VPETs in general is kind of old school. So
Yeah,
you
but
can only add it's like you can only add so many modern flourishes to it before it becomes a smartphone game.
yeah. I go get the crossloader. That was color and had an MP3 player that no one liked.
There you go.
Yeah. Fantasy World asks, "Do you think there'll be a solid condition for reaching perfect level?
Mm,
Something,
I mean,
something. Crest, power of friendship, and blah blah blah, and Metal Greymon Claw. Blah.
in that sense, I do hope that one of the conditions for reaching perfect level is some sort of self-examination and self-flaw. Like Taichi had to go through the entire Edamon arc before
Yeah,
he was able to earn Metal Greymon, and that was a whole thing for Taichi to do that. So I do hope that there is some sort of I want to see Taichi exhibit some flaws at some point. Like I'm confident that he will. I would love that to be a condition for him getting to Metal Greymon.
you're not wrong. But yeah, the problem is I'm trying to decide minus him just doing something stupid and dumb in the next episode, if the overall arc that the show has set up has room for that. If we are expecting an evolution
Yeah,
in the next,
you can't really expect that in one episode.
yeah, that's where,
That's if we're getting Metal Greymon next episode, that's not going to happen.
yeah. Then another one was our expectations for DigiFest. This was one where it wasn't qualified. I assume they meant like, do we think there'll be announcements type stuff? Does
I
that sound?
imagine there will be something. Like I don't think we're going completely empty-handed. This isn't a Diginavi.
To be fair, though, the Diginavi, minus the first one, they've been very clear that these are meant to be like catch-up things. This, I would say, some sort of Blu-ray and maybe a wink at a movie.
Yeah, I could see some sort of a teaser for a
I would
movie.
I would say I would, and a few people have wondered if there might be something for a show. I would say no for two reasons. One,
No,
we're
no.
really early in a show, and two, Adventure has its own little corner.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not going to be a show. Like there might
Yeah,
be some sort of a movie hinted at, but
yeah, we'll see.
like, and even then, that would be kind of weird having the reboot series be going on while they're trying to like. Would they really
Well,
promote
to be fair though,
another?
we don't know what a movie could be. It could very well be a TV film of the show.
That could be. I mean,
Because here's
if
the thing,
it's
they do that with a lot of their franchises now, where they just will get a standalone movie rather than doing the old festival stuff.
That's fair. That's possible. Like we could see like you mean like a reboot a movie
Yes,
offshoot of the reboot. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
that will either air
That I
as
could see.
that will either air as a twofer with something else, or as just a standalone. Oh, it's a 70-minute movie.
If
Because like Pretty Cure
yeah.
gets a movie every year. One Piece gets one every 2 or 3 years at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that is reasonably. Who knows though?
I mean, they also another possibility for another anime project like a movie would
Or
be
an OVA.
potential or an OVA could be something with something along the lines of X Evolution, but not being X Evolution, sort of a standalone with Digimon only. That's a
Maybe.
I could see them teasing that, bringing X
Okay.
Evolution out of
Okay.
bringing it out here. I'm not removing that as a possibility.
Okay. Why? Okay. Saying okay. I guess like they'll announce a new gem. That's something they do so often. It feels like it's not a fair guess to make. What is your wild swing product guess? And you're not
Product
and you're not allowed to guess Blu-rays because that's all. It doesn't happen every year, but that's almost a DigiFest tradition of them announcing a Blu-ray there. So like,
now,
what would be like a
yeah.
wild swing guess that you don't
Oh, I
necessarily
have.
expect, but you'd like to see?
Oh, I have no idea. Like
I'll say Digivolving Spirits.
yeah, get one more crack at it.
Hey, at least get out the last 3 adventure
Yeah,
partners.
get that Garudamon figure that was teased
Because that one
8
was like
years
nearly
ago.
done. That one was
Yeah,
nearly done.
that was like 2 years ago.
Well, no, we did see that one like last April or May, and it was like
Yeah.
not, and they had redone the wings and everything, and it really looked nice. Um,
Mm,
Corey Lou, you don't want us to answer this, but we will. Do you think we'll see a Tamer sequel for its 20th anniversary next year?
no.
I will go with my answer from my esteemed colleague.
If
Minus if they
I'll
do
say,
random OVA thing. But here's the thing: I don't really want like what we've seen already. Like that
yeah,
was
I
that.
think
Like I honestly think that's the weird position of Tamers is people are like, it has to be Kanaka. But what we've seen of Kanaka isn't really that good or interesting, to be honest.
well, the bigger issue is with that audio, the premise of that audio CD had so many logistical issues regarding the cast that you can't really it doesn't make it feasible to do another Tamers project unless you're going to recast it. And if you're doing that, then it's like it sort of loses its luster
Yeah.
already.
Well, I believe wasn't that the entire explanation for like the first 20 minutes of getting a younger Takato there?
Yeah, that was like there were a lot of allowances for the cast restrictions that they had to
Yeah.
account for, and they spent a lot of time accounting for those
Yeah.
rather than going into the actual
Yeah. And
story.
at this point, Renamon's actress has actually properly retired, I believe.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
it's it's not that she's on break it on hiatus anymore to take care of her kids. She's retired. So yeah.
yeah. So I mean, honestly, if you ask me to pick 3 different anime projects that they could potentially tease or announce, it would be I like your idea of a potential reboot movie. I think an all Digimon feature is a possibility, and the third thing would be a Kazuna sequel. I'm not ruling that out either.
Actually, Digimon All Stars would be like the obvious choice at some point.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That is one of those things where, like, I think Pretty Cure does one like every 2 or 3 years now, where it's just, hey, everyone,
Oh, hold on.
everything all right? I will. Oh,
I
Joshua
lost.
showed up. What was that?
I lost you again there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Uh, After talking about him earlier, Joshua Knighton showed up.
How about that?
Um, Clairvoyant Nera asked, what side character stories are you hoping make a return in the new anime? Their example was Wizardmon.
I mean, I would like an expanded Wizardmon story. That I mean, it was kind of abbreviated in the original. I honestly, this is a hard one for me to answer because I was hoping for new side characters and not necessarily focusing on the old stories. But if I had to pick something from the original that I'd like to see a little more development for, it would be Piccolo Mon, actually.
That's actually good. I was actually thinking about him just a minute ago. He
Yeah,
he's a good choice because his entire position in the first show was basically
the
not Jedi.
trainer. Yeah, like he's sort of the trainer. It's like where does
Huh.
that role develop and all that? That would be kind of an interesting thing to go into, especially if it could attach to the lore somehow. Some sort of guy who's designated to train the noobs. I think there's
Yeah,
potential in that.
yeah, I think Piccolomon's probably the interesting choice also. And Joshua wants to know, do you think the 2020 Adventure Series will be as long as the original? Roughly,
If
yes.
if not longer,
Yeah.
I think it'll be as long. It could keep going. Who knows?
Yeah. And then we'll give them a chance to throw questions, and then we'll call it.
I feel bad for Josh. It shows up right at the end.
Yeah. He missed us actually like talking about him at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um Next week we'll be talking about episode 9. Hopefully there'll be stuff to talk about for DigiFest, and it won't be like DigiNova where we just went, yeah, this stuff happened. Woo.
Yeah, I think we'll have something to talk about at least.
Yeah,
Something...
it's just a matter of what. Because
Yeah.
to their credit, like, they made that nice poster. It has all the information, and it actually kind of tells us nothing as far as announcements go.
Mm-hmm. And as when I say that it's a week, we have something to talk about, I should clarify that it's very possible it'll be like a figure or something where I'm not necessarily interested of it, but the fandom at large has reason to be excited.
Because last year at DigiFest, they announced the Taichi and Agumon 20th anniversary one, which was the first non-precious gem we've had in a while. Like, that one was one people could actually afford. And Joshua, we're not answering questions about Kazuna's plot until we have it, because me and AR both know what happened, so it'd be unfair to mock answer those.
Yeah. Although he does ask about its connection to the epilogue.
Well, that's why I think it's unfair to comment on at all, because either we're outright lying or we're spoiling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... They've teased pretty extensively that it's going to connect to the epilogue somehow.
Yes, well, they've actually outright said they're going to the world of what they've shown.
Yeah, they're not abandoning the epilogue. No. We know that.
Oh, and there's a question for you, so why don't you go ahead and take it?
Oh, let's see. Thinking Adventure 20 could last more than 52 to 54 episodes just to stretch out the story, or factoring in a combined reboot timeline that includes likely O2 characters. I'm not even knowing stretching out the story. Like, they could continue beyond what we're used to.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that says they have to follow the original story episode by episode. Like, they've kind of approximated it so far, but that doesn't mean they can't branch out at some point and keep going and developing their own stories with these characters. Like, if they decide that they can have a season 1 narrative, or the season 1 characters and their adventure go 100 episodes and keep it interesting and fresh, they can continue doing that. They don't have to go Devimon arc, Edamon arc, Vamdemon arc, Dark Masters arc, Apocalypse arc. Stop. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they could easily fight. And of course, we don't know if they'll keep they could do Dark Masters, and then you could do Edamon comes back based on the tri-stage play, and then they could have original story. They could have it doesn't.
They could make Apocalypse last more than 2 episodes, which honestly it needed to be. Apocalypse needed to either be a lot longer or not there.
See, I think he worked as the quickie super finale villain. It's like the bonus enemy. I think that actually worked for me.
Yeah, it was.
I understand why a lot of people don't like that he popped up so quickly. I actually kind of liked it. It was like, we've won. Oh shit! Type of setup.
It didn't work for me, but
yeah, like the show it replaced was 85 episodes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be something in between.
Yeah, I believe the last 1-year show in the time slot was actually Digimon Savers.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, everything since then has run a bit longer. So it'll be interesting to see.
Josh is asking if 100 episodes would be a little too much, though. It might be. Like, it does. Like, I do hope that they're... they do have to keep it fresh, and at some point you're going to probably run out of steam. But I don't know. They've been writing this pretty well, so... Yeah.
Although we should point out, the person in charge of the writing is there for a year. That is... It doesn't mean things won't change, but like when he signed on, it was for a year show, which is ironically the exact same thing that happened last time. Like, he said the show's running for a year. So by a year, we mean, of course, 13 episodes.
Yes. So,
but yeah.
So, I mean, it's, or who knows, after the 50, they could do the young chosen children who leapt through time, for all we know.
Yeah. I think that's it for questions. So now we will talk about The Mentalist.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't need to talk about The Mentalist. You had a nice conversation with my wife about The Mentalist last night.
I just like how when the Yoli thing came up. Even I kind of went, yeah, maybe for a joke that was a bit pedantic of me. And then
It's
she
very
popped,
pedantic of you.
yeah, and then she popped up saying no, she was popping up to say the same thing.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah. So
A
where
lot.
are you? So where are you guys on the Mentalist before we jump out? Because I want to
Oh,
know when you guys hit a specific part. Oh, you
we're
finished?
in the middle of season 4 somewhere.
Okay. I know what I'm waiting for you guys to hit because you will be angry.
Oh, I mean, I have only been kind of following along. What the usual
Oh,
setup is watching on the TV, and I'll be on my computer in the
okay.
background and
Then
put
you're
my
not
eyes up and say, "Oh, that looks interesting," or
okay.
whatever.
Then you're not going to care because you haven't been paying attention well enough.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay. So we will catch you guys next time. AR, where can they find you?
You can find me digimon.firstagent.net is my review blog. Episode 8 just went up this morning. Also on Twitter at firstagentarp.
You guys can find me at With the Will. You can find me here. And you can find our erstwhile third co-host May at Lost in Translation Mon. I fully do expect she will be back. She'll be back whenever it's possible. When we went weekly at a time when me and AR could actually record weekly without dying. We kind of knew this would almost have to happen at some point.
Yeah, we expected this eventually.
Yeah, so at some point we expect Dev to show up on the regular. At some point we will be able to grab Joshua, whose time just does not match up with us well at all.
He has some good questions, though.
Yeah, every attempt has been completely 180. He's been like, I'm available. And I go, we're not recording for a week. Or I'll go, can you do it tomorrow? Absolutely not. No, Joshua's apologizing. No apology needed. It has been both sides where anytime you've been available, we're just not doing a show. And yeah.
I was excited that he jumped on the chat.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that he did pop up right near the end. So we will catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.